Hello, welcome back to Bowman's Woods. Well, last time I talked to you guys, it was probably around mid-November, and we were at this point. You can see the solar panels were up, but the system wasn't really installed yet, so it wasn't actually a working solar system. The roof was part done. As you can see, the veranda roof down below was not completed. Now I was getting ready to have our septic system put in, and this whole episode is really going to be talking about how we've completed things since then, and some of the mistakes we made, some of the things we would 100% do differently next time. One of which I'll talk about right now since we're showcasing it, is the septic bed. You can see the weeping bed is actually higher than our house. So when these guys quoted me for a septic system, they just assumed I was going to build my house up on a lot of fill, and then the septic bed would be lower than the house. Well, no. When we were first building the house, the contractor and I were talking, and we're like, well, you're on bedrock. It's not going to sink. Let's go to bedrock. We'll throw a little gravel in, put the ICF foundation down, and go. Well, that meant that now our septic bed is substantially higher than our house, so we have to now pump uphill to get to our septic bed. So that's something to consider. Yes, if you build your house up on a lot of fill, you have to pay for all that fill, but then you don't have this kind of unnatural mountain of dirt in your backyard that is actually your septic system. So something to factor in. Maybe paying for gravel to build the house up on a higher hill, gravel or fill or whatever, or sand or whatever we would have had to put, might have been better just for optics. So when you look out your back windows, you're not looking at a massive hill. Now, granted, we will throw grass seed and grass on this, so it'll look like a nice, maybe it will look nice after that. But right now, when you see just dirt and gravel, and yeah, my wife was like less than thrilled with how the septic system worked out. Not the problem with the septic company, probably our decision to not build the house up on a higher foundation is probably part of the problem. So as you can see at this point, we didn't have any windows in, no garage doors in. We did have a wood boiler installed and all the piping in the floor was done, but there was no point in heating it when we are just wide open to the great outdoors. So here we are in end of December. So I'm going to talk to the camera in a second, but I'm just going to give you the brief overview. We now have the windows in, of course the roof is completed. The garage doors were supposed to be done, but as you can see, I've got tarps on 2 of them. I'll talk about that in a second. Again, there was a bit of a screw up. We're going to learn a lot of lessons in this episode. The solar panels are now up and running and fully utilized. The wood boiler is also fully functioning now because we have all the windows and doors in, except for the garage doors, which we have tarps on inside and outside, and it actually does hold in the heat. So things are pretty good. Although there were a lot of delays due to minor screw-ups, things that didn't come in the way we thought they would be, and things that had to be changed and whatnot. If you're thinking of building a house, whether it's an ICF house like this, or even a stick frame house, I bet you're going to learn a lot by watching this episode, because you might avoid some of these mistakes if you see the ones that we ended up doing, whether it was some of it was our fault, some of it wasn't, just circumstances that were beyond our control. But there is definitely a lot to learn here. And just zooming in now on these solar panels. Solar panels, awesome, but I will talk in this episode about how I would have changed things. Anyways, let's get to it.
Good, sunny, beautiful afternoon. Welcome back to Bowman's Woods. I'm going to give you an update on the off-grid house build. I know it's been a while. We had a few mishaps, a few delays. Things didn't go quite as smoothly as I'd hoped. And then Christmas came along. It's now December 27th. So right after Christmas, it's a busy time, as you know, with family and friends. So just never got around to filming or editing a video. So, and also kind of wanted to wait for things to be completed because as I hinted at, there were a lot of delays and things, and a lot of times like the doors were half in, the windows were 80% in. As you can see behind me, the garage doors didn't exactly work out the way we wanted to on first shot. So I'll get into all of that, but sometimes I just kept thinking, should I do a video? But then I thought, well, I don't want to do a video when things are 80% done. So now most everything is done enough that I can live in the garage now. That's right. I'm no longer living in the field beside the build in a trailer. My trailer is now inside the garage, which I will show you in a second. So I'll talk about what's been completed, what mishaps we had, and what I learned from this experience so far. So as you can see, the metal roof is on. So first mishap we had was, well, we were trying to get me into the garage, into the heated garage by the beginning of December. We missed that by about 2 weeks. One of the things we had problems with was the steel roof. When it first showed up, it was defective in terms of it had a bow in it from the factory, and when they tried to screw it down, it ended up looking like waves of the ocean. So they had to tear it off. They talked to the manufacturer of the steel roof. They said, sorry, you're right, there's something wrong with that batch. We'll send you a new batch. So that slowed us down. And without that, it was just the plywood on the roof and water was leaking in, so we couldn't even insulate in there and blah, blah, blah. And then after we did get it insulated and the roof on, then we had to put all these soffits on, because without it, the wind whipping through here would go up into the roof where the blown in insulation was and blow it around. So a lot of things had to be done before we could really start heating this place. So roof got put on finally. We'll go inside the house in a second. While I'm pointing at this, garage doors. As you can see, one legitimate garage door. It's a 12 by 12. When the ICF with a cement poured house, you have to cut the holes ahead of time to match the doors that you allegedly ordered. Unfortunately, because our blueprints had a screw up, the overhead elevations said these doors were 10 by 10, and so I guess that's what my builder sent off to the door company. So they quoted 10 by 10 doors, but when the doors showed up, they were 10 foot wide by 8 foot tall. So it needed one more of these sections. So it's not a huge deal. I just have to order another section, but unfortunately that makes the door heavier, which means they need a new racking system, a new spring system. So that's coming in early January. But we do have a finished door, and there's a side door on the house as well too. I can go in that way. A man door. No man door on the front, so the quickest way for me to show you the inside of the garage, and it is heated, so I will show you that. So this is the massive garage, which is heated. Let me just push this down. Which is heated by a wood boiler, which is functioning. All right, so that's down. So now you can see plenty of room. My ATV's in here, my truck's here. If you ask, wondering why I pointed askew, when my wife came to visit, I actually had her park here. So we had room for all three vehicles, even though we only have one functioning garage door. So 26-foot trailer fits in here with room for a car behind it and room in front for things. So this is kind of my glamping situation. I live in the trailer still during the week when the guys are working, and I now set myself up a nice little TV viewing room here, and also I charge all my stuff on this table. But let's talk about the two most important things that most people are interested in. Let me just go in here. You can see the brains behind the operation of the solar system. Turn on there we go. So it's an Enphase system. It was installed, again, little delayed. One of the problems was the generator that's integrated into this that turns on when the batteries get low. The propane lines running to it had a leak. Which one thing I would have learned is when the HVAC guys came and hooked up the propane lines, they should have pressure tested the line to make sure there weren't any leaks. So they dropped off the propane tanks, and then when they went to come and inspect them so they could fill them, they put pressure on the line and it had a leak. So we had to find that and solve that problem. So there you go. So let's go outside now. So that's the guts of the solar system. Oh, just so you know, it's 4 5,000 kilowatt batteries, so 20,000 kilowatts. And then this is the thing that speaks to the internet and gives me live updates no matter where I am. I don't know what that box exactly does. That's just, more guts. So I had to get Starlink. As you can see, Starlink down here. Out in the rural, they don't have cable internet or any of that stuff. So Starlink it is. And now my brains of this speaks through my Starlink, which then I can go home to Ottawa and see how my solar system is working or if there's any mishaps. So out here is the two main things. So we got the Heatmaster G10000 for heating the house with the radiant floor heating. You don't hear anything right now because the water is heated up above what it needs to. So you push that so it sucks the smoke out for you so you don't get blasted in the face with heat or smoke. Unfortunately, the house is so efficient that a lot of times my fire almost goes out. As you can see, there is wood in there, but because it's not required very often, sometimes the automatic system here will shut the flue down so much that it actually chokes out the fire a bit, and then it takes a little while for it to come back. You can tell when it's kicking into gear because you'll hear the fan and you'll also see the steam or the smoke coming out the smokestack. So we'll get into more detail on these things like how the Heatmaster is working out. Just wanted to show you, this is the solar array that goes to those batteries and brains inside there. It's 28 500 watt bifacial panels. I'm going to have Philip, the lead guy of the installation company, come out here. He's going to do a full rundown all the specs and how it works. So he can explain it better than me. So I'll just leave it at this. This is just an overview. That's been working great. What did I learn from this one? What I learned from this one is I should have put it further back. So when we came out here to look at where to place it, there was a limit on how far these massive cables could go. He was kind of hinting, don't go too far, like don't go way back in the trees, because that cable A is really expensive, and I guess there is some sort of resistance the longer you leave the cables, the longer the cables are. So we picked this spot, but back when the sun was much higher in the sky, we're here in Canada, and it's December 27th, so the darkest day is December 21st. So we are practically in the darkest day. So the sun is really low in the sky. And unfortunately, I have a really tall house. So it seems to be shaded, at least the bottom half, until around 10:30 in the morning. So I'm not getting as much solar as I would like this time of year. So what I learned is I should have pushed for it being further back, because as you can see, I got lots of land. I could have been back another 20, 30 feet, and that might have solve the problem. And the other thing I would do is I'd get more batteries. So I have 20,000 kilowatts of lithium battery. I would probably go 25. The reason is, when you have a wood boiler system, you have a pump. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a water pump that's always circulating the water inside the wood boiler. Inside here, as part of the wood boiler system, you have two more pumps. So in here, and this is a very cool, the HVAC guys did a great job of this. This is the guts or the brains of this. So maybe I'll get the guy who did this to come back and explain it better than me. But you have a pump here that is run by thermostat. This pump goes to the house, which I'll show you in a second. The radiant floor heating in the house is controlled by this pump. And this is I don't know what the right word is. It's like, this is the cold water return from the floor coming back, and this is the hot stuff coming from the wood boiler. This thing is a thermostat. You turn it to make it hotter or colder. So what they're trying to do is aim to have the floor water going into the floor be no more than 150 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can adjust this up or down to try and match that, so that when the water is being sent to the floors, it's not burning your feet. So that's the reason you do that. Then this one is the exact same system, the pump that's run by a thermostat, going to a regulator here that brings the cold and the hot together to make it 120, and that goes to the floor in the garage. So if the heat is not being called for by either area, this pump is off, and then this pump is off. If right now they think they're both off, and that means you're not getting in much of the cold water returning back to the wood boiler. Therefore, the wood boiler gets to a point where its temperature goes to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it decides it's in idle mode, and it will not fire up that fan to keep the fire going until that gets down to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So you get a sunny, warm day where the sun is coming in the windows and keeping the place warm. The floor or the thermostat might decide you don't need the heat, and it leaves it choked off for so long that it actually sometimes extinguishes the fire. Now, granted, we're not living here yet, so I have it fairly cool. I have it set to like 63 degrees Fahrenheit. So, yeah. Nice big windows. So we'll show you the house. It's framed, drywalling. Oh, in case you didn't see that in the garage. All this stuff under the yellow plastic sheeting is drywall. Drywall everywhere. So that's coming next week. So everything is pretty much framed in. This is going to be the pantry. In the original blueprints, it said office, but my wife took it over as a pantry because it's right off the kitchen. This is a powder room. This is a mud room. So there'll be a bench here to sit and put your shoes and boots on. This is a closet. There's pot lights everywhere, including the closets. That's one big thing. We wanted light, but we didn't know how to do it, so we decided on pot lights everywhere. So this is the open concept kitchen. So that window is a little bit higher than the other ones, as you can see. That's because the kitchen counter's got to go under there. There'll be a sink there. On this side, there'll be double fridges there with one of those coverings that makes it look like one of those big industrial double wide fridges, but meanwhile one side will be a fridge and one side will be a freezer. There'll be a gas stove there and just countertop, I think, and then there's a vent for above. This is the great room. So this from here, there's going to be an island in the middle. So you'll be sitting or preparing food here, and there's going to be obviously a great room with a massive like 20-foot high ceiling. Because each floor is, I believe, 9'2" to the floor joists. And then you add a little bit for the actual floor joist of the one above, and to the top is another 9'2". So it's about 20 feet tall. So you're gonna have a fireplace with stone fascia on the bottom part, then a mantle, and then like a wood fascia above that. Massive windows. I don't know if you can get it. These are actually quite low. This is the lowest windows I've ever seen in a house. Like, it's only up to, below my crotch, to give you an idea of how low it is. So lower than I would have thought. When you're looking at blueprints, you don't really realize it. So obviously you wouldn't want to put a tall couch here against this wall, because the back of your couch would actually be, blocking some of the window. So mistakes, things that slowed us down, things that I would learn to do better. So let's go outside and look at these double doors. So all of our windows are from a company called Coltech, and I've been really impressed with their quality. They're double opening windows. Unfortunately, my builder said, why don't we go with Geldwin for the doors, because they promised that they could make the frames thicker to accommodate the ICF wall thickness. And we ordered double doors, which on our blueprints showed double swinging doors. We didn't think we needed to check that. We just assumed when it was ordered, they would come double swinging doors. I was all happy to show my wife when they first got installed. She came on the weekend. I brought her in. Oh, aren't these beautiful? For one thing, we didn't know, the Geldwin website is terrible. That showed a window in the website. It's just like a stick drawing of the door, almost like a blueprint of the door. It didn't even show us that this is the design in the window. That was a surprise, which we were happy with. I mean, it's nicer than what we expected. So long and short, I was all excited about how these doors looked, and I brought Janice, and I didn't even notice this. Maybe you notice it. Hinges on this side. No hinges on this side. And she goes, does the left side not open? And I'm like, no, it's double doors. Of course they open. And then I thought about, wait, if it opened, there would be hinges, which I never noticed. And this should open, and there should be some latching system. You unlatch, and then pull it open. But of course, without hinges, it clearly doesn't open. So then she said, well, is that the same with our French doors, which are back here? I'll get to that in a second, in our master bedroom. And of course, same exact problem. No hinges on the left door. So somehow we ordered double doors. And even though the blueprints clearly showed double swinging doors, somehow or other the order got screwed up. Whether it was my general contractor or whether it was the door company, somebody screwed up, and somebody didn't warn somebody that you're ordering double doors. And when we got the order, it said double doors. It said double door left in swing. Now I know I've got double doors at home, my other house, and there's always a primary door, which is the door that opens. And then the other door is kind of like a door, but it's more of a latch system that you then unlatch, and then you can open it if you need to move in big furniture or anything. When I saw double door left in swing, I just meant this is your primary door, which is fine because that's the way our wall was set up. That's the way we ordered it. I did not know, and neither did my general contractor, that when it only says left in swing, it doesn't mention anything about the other side. It's not actually a door, even though the title of the product is double door. The definition of a door is it opens. If it doesn't open, it's not a door. This is a window. This is a window, or you could call it a faux door. And the same thing with the French doors on the other side. So what did I personally learn from this? Twice now, there's been screw-ups where you hand off your blueprints to people and say, you order what you think you need to order. They order, it shows up, it's wrong. Unfortunately, with the door, they fought with us, the door company and the supplier fought with us that, well, you ordered it. You should have known. And we argued, you didn't explain in your description that it didn't open. So eventually, they agreed to send us a double door with the caveat that we have to remove the windows ourselves and reinstall them in the new door. They would only send us the doors without the glass insert. So, it is what it is. Another thing my contractor was not happy about is the reason we went with Geldwin instead of Coltech was that Coltech said, no, sorry, the doors come on a normal frame. Geldwin says, oh no, we can give you a wider frame like these windows. See how the windows have a very wide frame? For some reason, Coltech sells windows with a super wide frame to accommodate the super wide walls of an ICF built house. But they refused to do that for their doors. So my contractor said, let's go with Geldwin because they say they'll do a wider frame. Do you notice? It is not a wider frame. What they did was send a wooden piece that you're supposed to screw in yourself to make it wider. And it says in the fine print, this extra piece is sent along for the contractor to install, so it's not part of the frame. In which case, we might as well have just gone with Coltech instead of Geldwin. And the Coltech website is beautiful. You can see the doors. There's beautiful color photos of every door. The Geldwin one is, like I said, a blueprint of a door. You can't even tell really what it looks like. So I'm glad that the glass came out better than we expected, but absolutely terrible website. So even my contractor said he'll never order from them again. Okay, what else did I learn? This triple slider on the blueprint showed a triple slider. Again, don't assume other people know what you want. When we had the triple slider show up, it's only a single, well, I'll just yell instead of unlocking it. It's a single slider. So I think since it's 3 panels, it should be this one opens to this one, which then opens to this one, and then you have 3 panels overlapping each other on the far side. No, only this one opens to this one. This one doesn't do anything. So this one never moves. So you've got a triple wide sliding door with only 1 piece of glass that actually moves. It's a waste for me in my mind. Why would you order a triple glass door? I just assumed that it would come double sliding. Again, for those thinking of building their own house, you have to be meticulous. You have to research everything that the builder is going to order from you and make sure you're getting what you think. So again, this door, same problem. Only this side opens. This side is not really a door. It is a window, in my opinion, because it doesn't open. So it is what it is. Anyways, those are going to get replaced. Another screw up. This time I'm sure it was from the window company, or it's just Coltech is way better with customer support. The bathroom windows and one window on the upstairs hallway were supposed to be opening windows. Of course, bathroom windows you would want to open to get the steam out or smells out or anything else. The windows showed up. 3 windows showed up. Every other window opens, including ones that I don't even need to open, as opening windows, and the bathroom and the upstairs window showed up as static windows. They do not open. So those, without any argument, we said, hey, they were supposed to be opening windows. They're like, no problem. We'll send you new windows. In fact, one of the windows upstairs that is an opening window got a crack, I guess from cold or installation. And Coltech right away is like, no problem. We'll send you another window. So Coltech has been awesome. So I would highly recommend them if you have that opportunity in your area. So just as a layout, I should go back to this room. This is the master bedroom on the main floor, which is nice for old people like us that don't want to go up and down stairs all the time. This will be the master bathroom. There'll be a vanity there, a tub, not a built-in tub, but a tub in the middle of the room here. Oh, this is kind of interesting. This is the wood boiler radiant floor heating pipes. So it comes in here, it tells you what your temperature is here, and it tells you what the temperature going out of your floor is here. It's very cool because you can tell when it's on. It's not on now because you can see the temperature of the incoming water is almost exactly the same temperature as the outgoing water. That's because the pumps aren't on. Because this area is hot enough, I guess with the sun and everything, it's not requesting any heat, so the pump is off. This is a shower basin. This will be a stand-up shower with a seat built into the shower, so that'll be that. This is a walk-in closet. Again, pot lights and its own clickable thing in every room and every closet. My electricians are like, oh my God, you got a lot. We have like an interior decorator who happens to be the wife of our contractor. She's been like, oh, we'll put lights here, we'll put lights there. And of course on a blueprint, it all makes sense. And then you actually see the house and you're like this room has 2 pot lights. And she had originally designed 4 pot lights. Because when you're on a blueprint, she's like, oh, you need a light in that corner and then a light in this corner and a light in this corner and a light in this. Well, on a blueprint, you go, oh, that makes sense. And then you see the room and you're like, no, we don't need that many lights. This is a laundry room. So getting back to that, I'm here living. That's why I stay in the trailer during the week when the guys are here, because there's a lot of questions like this. That if you wrote on a blueprint 4 lights, they would just put in 4 lights. But when you're here, they go, do you really need 4 lights in this little room? And I'm like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Let's just go to 2 and saves me money and saves wire. And if you have too many lights, what happens is you have to dim them down. So with pot lights, you can't have a on-off with a dimmer switch, so you can dim them down. But then you got 8 lights when you maybe only needed 4, and you have to dim everything down. So there you go. So this is pretty much, did I mention laundry room? Laundry room where that ladder is, and then a closet just outside the master bedroom door. Oh, one thing, my wife and I, when you're looking at blueprints, we originally found this blueprint on a website. Then we went to a designer or architect here and said, can you make us something similar? Because we would need it in ICF. And to be honest, we were thinking of buying the blueprint from the online vendor, but we told them we want it redone in ICF instead of stick frame. And they said, no, we don't do that. So we're like, okay then. Guess we're going to a local architect with the same idea. Now, I kind of hope the architect, being Canadian, would have caught this, because we didn't catch it. There's absolutely no there's no closet here for your coats. So this is your main door. This is where you walk in. We're Canadian. There's snow outside. You wear coats like 6 months of the year. So like you come in here like, hey, where do we put our coat? Can't put it here because that's the kitchen. And you can't put it here because that's a window. So yeah, there's no closet. So the only other alternative is this is the side door. So there's a veranda that wraps around the house. This is the side door. So I guess if we're coming in with coats and boots and stuff, we would come in the side door. And then under the stairway, there's going to be a closet system with a light in here. And that'll be where we will put all our coats and then come and go from there. Or mostly when we live here, we're going to be coming in and out through the garage because, you have a garage door opener, you will drive in. So we'll have a mud room with a closet there. So for us, coats will probably go there. But for guests, you might say, hey, when you show up, go to the side door because that's where your boots and your coats can go. So this is going to be an open concept stairway. So there's going to be a banister with aviation cable, like a wire that's going up and down at an angle. So that's to be seen later. So as you can see, there were some screw ups in the windows in terms of dimensions. Unlike a stick frame house where if they make a 2x4 frame for a window and then the windows show up and they're not exactly the same size, they just cut the 2x4 and redo it. With ICF, they build a box first. They put the box in the wall, then they pour the cement around it. Then the windows show up and the windows don't match. This window and this window don't match the hole that was created by one of the crew of the contractor. He was told to build the boxes. Somewhere along the lines, some miscommunication as to which windows go where or something. So yeah, so they had to build another frame inside the other frame and then insulate around it. This is that other window that should open. It's at the top of the stairs. You can access it. So this window should open. Now windows that shouldn't open, again, our fault for not catching this. We ordered, almost all these windows are the identical size. So when we saw the windows, we just ordered all the windows. And we said we want them to open. Without thinking, well, except for these two, because you can't get up there. It's 20 feet down. So we have crank open windows up there that will probably never be opened. So you pay extra for that. I could have just got static windows similar to that window and to that window and to that window that don't actually open. But, grand scheme of things, oh well, paid a little bit too much for some windows. This is going to be our our movie theater room. So nice big wide window, of course, opening here and opening there. We'll have to have some pull down blackout blinds here because this room will need to be dark. We're going to paint it dark blue. I have a projection, 120-inch projection TV that'll come up out of a floor thing here with a ultra short throw projector for there. Originally I was going to get a normal projector that you mount in the ceiling, but technology has changed since the last time I saw a projector. Ultra short throw goes right in front of your screen. And I bought it and I have it set up at my other house just to see that it works. And I love it. In fact, this Sunday I'm going there to watch football. This little alcove was originally designed to be a closet because this was going to be a big bedroom. Well, a bedroom. It wasn't this big. We actually knocked a wall out. This was going to be the closet for it. We turned this alcove that no longer needs to be a closet. It's going to be a bar. So there's going to be a bar here with a fridge on the left, like a bar fridge, and a sink, and then this powers for like bar lights, and it's gonna be cool. Little bar in our theater so you don't need to go all the way downstairs if you need to get a drink. If you have guests over to watch movies or sporting events, this is the bathroom, the guest bathroom for the bedrooms up here. It's a traditional bathroom. I believe, tub, it says right on the wall, tub. Tub goes here, the vanity goes here, toilet goes there. Again, this is that third window that should have opened. It's a static window that's going to get replaced. Now the only one that, I don't know, it was here in the blueprints. I just never really thought about it. We have a massive garage for storage, and yet they had this room just called storage up here. So it's not a bedroom, doesn't have a closet, it's storage. So it's kind of, it is what it is. It's a storage room, so you can store things. And then these are the other 2 bedrooms. This is going to be the actual spare bedroom for a guest. And this bedroom and this bedroom over here are identical in size and identical with a walk-in closet. But the walk-in closet is monstrous for a guest room. But it is what it is, more storage for our other stuff. And if you are like us, you always end up having other crap. This house doesn't have a basement where you can just throw your crap. So having extra storage rooms and closets that you may not need for normal purposes will definitely be used here. So I'm not worried about it. But it is funny because these aren't really bedrooms that we're going to use that often, and yet they have bigger walk-in closets than we have at home. Love the windows. Oh, I should mention that about the other window. So the other window over there, Janice only comes on the weekends from time to time, if weather permitting and all the other stuff. And I was showing her all the beautiful windows and how we have beautiful views out these windows. And I just happened to pick this window. I said, look at the beautiful view. And then I got close and I'm like, what the heck is this? There's a crack in my brand new window. So I called my contractor. I said, did you know there's a crack? Because my electrician kind of implied that the contractor had mentioned, or one of the crew of the contractor had mentioned there's a crack in the window. So I assumed he knew, but nobody had told me. He said, yeah. He called Coltech, said, look, we installed it, and one of the it's a 3-pane glass. So there's an outer glass, inner glass, and then one in between. It's the one in between that's cracked. So it's not because somebody hit the window, it just cracked. And my contractor said, that's pretty common, especially when you're installing windows in the winter time where there's change in temperature from hot to cold. Sometimes the glass doesn't like to expand and contract and it cracks. So he says that can happen within a year of installation and is included in your window warranty. So it's all going to be covered. It's just one more thing that, little things that when I'm here, I'm like, oh my goodness, another thing. What else could go wrong? So these stairs are what they call construction stairs. They're not the way the stairs are going to look. So that is going to change. They're going to be a little bit obviously nicer than what I'm walking on now. Now, things to keep in mind. When you have a cement floor with radiant heat, you can't have hardwood. So we got it's sort of like a vinyl floor, click flooring, but it's not vinyl. It's an engineered wood sort of thing. It looks beautiful. I have a little swatch of it in my truck. Maybe I'll do a little inlay of what it looks like. But it's got a foam or a cork. I can't remember if that one has rubber or cork base, and then it clicks together. You need that because cement is kind of sometimes moist, so you don't want to put wood directly on it. And with a heated floor, it will contract and expand. And if you put wood on it and it heats up and then dries out and gets bigger and gets smaller, the wood will show cracking and the seams will start to come apart. And the fabricated fake wood doesn't do that. And they also make that same type of wood. They make a flooring system for stairs where it's the same wood with an edging around each one. So that's probably what we're going to do. So there you go. So that's it. That is just the quick and dirty of how things have been going. So far, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, we're a little behind schedule, like the veranda roof out here, not done. And now it's wintertime, so trying to put tin on a roof with snow, not going to happen probably, unless we get a heat wave and all the snow goes away. And they even returned the Genie, one of those lifting hydraulic things, to work on roofs. When we got all the snow, they were like, well, guess we'll be doing the roof in the spring. In fact, there's the spot they cut the tin on that little structure there. That's where they cut the tin to the size they need. And when the snow showed up, they put the rental Genie back. So why pay for it when we're not using it? So there you go. So the next stage is drywall. I didn't know this. I was asking, do you do the floor and then the drywall? Because that way you can put the cord around and the trim around the floor that already exists so you don't have any gaps along the edges. No, I was told that's not how it works. So they put the drywall first, and I was even not aware of this. You have the ICF with the foam, and there is actually a rib in every so often that I just assume they throw the drywall onto that. But a lot of times I notice they're putting strapping, like out in the garage here. I don't know if they're going to do strapping in here. Maybe not. But I know out here, the ICF has strapping on the walls now, and that's because we're putting tin on the walls out here instead of drywall, so that it's a little more forgiving if it gets wet, or can take something bumping against it. So we're going to put tin in the garage, or steel or aluminum, whatever it's made of. But they actually put strapping, so they can screw the tin to that, and there you go. If you're ever unaware of this for ICF builds, wiring, all they do is they take a chainsaw and they cut seams in the foam, and then they run the wire in, and then they just put a little spray foam over top to keep it in there. So there you go. So yeah, here's the thing. The garage door guy said, oh, we'll be available with the new piece and the new tracking. So I didn't explain it outside as well. See how the tracking goes up and turns? Well, the one they came with originally was only 8 feet tall. So that bend started lower. And then when I said, look, I really want the 10 foot wide, because then 10 feet tall, sorry, then that way I can drive my tractor in this door or that big door, or my excavator with the arm down. I can drive it in the big door, or I could even drive it in this if I put my arm down, because they're 10 feet wide, which is way wider than my tractor or my excavator. And if they're 10 feet tall, I can actually use any of these doors, which are very cool. Now, these two doors will come with, like a remote controlled garage door opener. I didn't opt for that on this one, because my thought was this one would be where I would park stuff long term, like my trailer or my excavator, stuff I don't use every day. And it was like $1,100 to get the motorized lifter for this door, so I opted not to, and you just have a chain hoist, which is fine. So that one and the one at the back of the garage are identical. Only difference is this door is white at the back, and all the doors on the front of the house are black. So that's the only difference between that door and the one at the back. These are coming the beginning of January sometime. The problem is when Home Hardware dropped off the drywall, I thought the contractor had told them, don't drop it right in front of where the garage doors are going to be installed, because, we need that space. Well, they started off dropping it here and here and there, which is kind of off to the side. But then they dropped the last batch here, which I'm like, wait a second. After they'd already left, I'm like, wait a second. How are the guys doing the garage doors? Because they come in with like a hydraulic lift system to do the garage doors. So until the drywallers come and do the drywalling and get rid of this stuff, at least the stuff closest, I can't have my new garage doors put in. So as for the tarps, we've got a double or triple. Well, this one might be triple tarp. We got a tarp on the outside nailed on. We had a tarp on the inside, and then I threw another tarp on this one. And I'm telling you, it holds. There's no insulation in between there. But I guess that buffer of air really, really stays insulated. I've been shocked at how little heat I need to keep this place. I'm actually sweating right now. I've got it set to 65 Fahrenheit, which is not really that hot, but I guess because, there's some humidity from the cement being heated up, and, it is a fresh build. That's 67. I have it set to 65, but it's actually warmer than that. As soon as it sends some heat into the floor, it just resonates and keeps giving off heat for a while. So if you go away for a day, I was worried I couldn't leave. You can see that the fire is going, which probably means you'll hear the fan now. When you get, nope, fan's not going. You can definitely hear it when it's kicking into gear, which it kicks into gear when it's being requested for hot water. If it's not being requested for hot water, it just sort of simmers. But it'll pump a little heat into the floor. And when it does, it pumps it in, like I told you, at 120 degrees. There's another one of these things over here, which has the ingoing and outgoing water temperatures. So you can tell it hasn't pumped for a while, because that is not near 120. It's about 100 right now, and that is 80 something. So yeah, that means that water has not been coming through this floor anytime soon, recently. So I'm just constantly shocked. Now today it's sunny and it's not super hot, so that might be part of it. But I've been here where it's minus 18 at night, and I go and look at the wood boiler and the thing's barely on, like it's smoldering. And I'm like, man, it's minus 18. Do I have too big of a wood boiler, or just too efficient of a house? So, sorry, for those Americans, minus 18 up. In our real temperatures, we quote Celsius, but on things like furnaces and wood boilers and stuff, I guess they're designed to accommodate the Americans who speak everything in Fahrenheit. So there you go. So when I say minus 18, I don't mean minus 18 Fahrenheit. I mean minus 18 Celsius. So there you go. So let's go outside and see how much snow has actually fallen off the house as I sign off. Okay, I'm back out in front. You really have to, I come out the side door, you really have to watch yourself being underneath underneath this metal roof, because I was inside before I started recording, and all of a sudden it sounded like I was on a ski resort and an avalanche was coming. Because when this metal roof lets that snow slide, you can hear it inside. It's like we're inside there because it's a metal roof. It's like a drum, right? So when all that went, oh, and the bunch fell off on the ground, you can hear it from inside. So now it makes me very cautious to walk directly under the roof. Now there is that little seam, you see the little metal bar that goes across, that's called an icebreaker. So that means if there is ice on there, it wouldn't come off as one big sheet. It would go to it and it would break it up, in theory, break it up, and the little pieces would come underneath. So at least if you get hit by ice, you're getting hit by a small piece of ice instead of a killer, a massive thing. But the snow, when it starts getting momentum, it slides down so violently, it goes right over top of that little metal icebreaker and onto the ground, and you hear thump, 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 thump. So there you go. An absolutely beautiful day. And once it gets drywalled and gets a little bit of flooring in there, we can start maybe using it. Maybe I told the builder, I said, maybe I could get just the master bedroom and master bathroom done so that we could close it off and have a place to live that's not a trailer. So we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely do another update. You can see my excavator there. Eventually, like I say, when I get my garage doors in, that and my tractor at the back will go inside the garage. And be heated. Well, should go this way so you see the sun. And be heated. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that's pretty much it on this beautiful day. Oh, I just want to stay out here in the sun. Oh, so nice. The beautiful day updating the Bowman's Woods off-grid property. Again, learning things all the way along. I guess if I have to boil it down to just a few things. When you get a blueprint, go over it with fine tooth. Oh, yeah, things like garage doors where one sheet says it's a 10 by 10, but the elevation one, which is a different sheet, which looks at the front of the house, said it was 10 by 8. I never caught that. Obviously, my contractor never caught that. So when, there you hear the snow falling off. Then when you send it to the garage door, they just randomly picked the elevation one to send, which said 10 by 8. I mean, it could have been the other way around. They could have made the door openings 10 by 8 and then the 10 by 10 door shows up. So you got to notice things like that. And windows. My contractor always sends me, here's what I'm ordering for you. Just give it a quick look and see what you see. All I saw was window, all different dimensions. They all open and I'm like, yeah, it looks good to me. And then they order them and some of them weren't even the right dimension. 2 of them weren't the right dimensions. 3 of them should have opened and didn't. So again, I don't know if that was on the order or if that was a screw up by the window company. I don't know. I don't want to start pointing fingers about who made what mistake, but at least the window company was good about making good on it. So I'm very happy with Coltech at least. Yeah, that's it. So I'll definitely do another one. Once we get the drywall and the plumbing in, we can start to like kitchen counters and other things. And I'm also going to give you a more longer term thought on the solar system. First, gut feeling, I think I need more battery because the wood boiler system, like I think I started to say and didn't probably conclude, the wood boiler system has pump. There's 3 pumps running all the time. I noticed that just, even though I don't have a lot of stuff in the house going, like I've got the trailer plugged in, which runs a couple of small fridges, but really when you have a fully functional house, you're going to have multiple full-size fridges and freezers that are always going to be drawing. So even with my relatively small draw I have now, it's about 500 watts continuously. So all night it's just drawing. And I find, especially on days that you're not getting 100% full by the end of the sunny day part, which is this time of year is like 4 o'clock. I find the generator kicks on at like 6 in the morning. It's always like, man, 2 more hours and we would have had sun. So if I had one more battery, another 5,000 watt battery to make it 5 batteries, I think I could make it to the next day when the sun comes up and it replenishes the battery. But I feel like every night it runs out before the next daylight, which means I need more battery. With the solar panels I have, I get full to 100% really quickly too, which makes me think I have enough solar. I don't think I have enough battery. So once I've had this longer and once we start to move more stuff in that are continuously drawing it, I'll let you know how I feel. But I'm pretty sure if I'm less than thrilled with how much battery I have now, I'm going to be even less than thrilled when I have bigger draw items in my house that are drawing throughout the night as well. So that'll be something I'll talk about in the future. So hopefully you're looking forward to that. If you find this interesting or informative, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already to Bowman's Woods to see the ongoing evolution of this off-grid system. Also in the spring and the summer, I'll get into more detail of the 155 acres I have here and trail building and all that stuff. So if that's something you might be interested, also subscribe. So that's it. So until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you happiness and health. Have a happy 2025, because it's almost New Year's. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. Is next year supposed to be better than this year? I don't know. It wasn't a bad year. 2024 wasn't so bad, although World War III was always on the horizon, supposedly. So hopefully 2025 seems a little bit more calm in the world, a little less edge of who knows what's going to happen next. That was a little unnerving. Probably part of the reason we went with an off-grid house instead of a normal house, because we thought, what if the grid goes down? What happens if there's no power? Well, at least we can make our own power now. So that's the backstory for why we went off-grid, and hopefully we're happy with our decision. Anyways, that's it. Ciao for now.